it's a very friendly, warm place to be. I was just talking to somebody's parents this morning who are down from Christchurch, and they said they love coming because it's such a warm, friendly, relaxed atmosphere, and I think that's we owe Jean a lot for that too. But we've got some wonderful people here.
We came here and there'd been a transformation in the community from what we had experienced before, and folk were just so welcoming and warm and accepting, and it just folded us into their hearts in no time at all. We felt we were part of the place. It was just lovely, really. I've just been through a tragedy with Beverly's ongoing health issues and then her eventual death, and the congregation have just gathered around and been wonderfully supportive.
We moved to Temuka in January 2017. Moripi and I had been in South Canterbury before, lived here for 5 years previously, and it was always on my heart to come back down here. So moving back here was, for me, pretty much a dream come true, a real sense of God's calling in this.
And we miss family back in the North Island because we can't see them as regular. But yeah, I think overall we've settled really well.
The church has embraced me as their minister, and probably taken them a little while to realise I'm probably not your normal everyday kind of minister. I do things a little bit differently to what they've been used to. But they've been quite open about going, okay then, Jean, we'll journey together.
Well, I don't think we'd have had a very relaxed service like we've had this morning. Even 10 years ago, probably, it would have been a lot more formalised.
Obviously, I've had to learn as well that I need to journey with them, and there are certain ways that they do things. And we've got to make sure that there's a good blend of a win-win situation there.
So while I, in some ways, regret the loss of some of the old, I realise that our world has changed, and it's often older for older people to change with it.
You know, I think I think as long as you're on this earth, you just keep learning.
We're trying to outreach to the community, so we've got our sing-alongs 2 to 3 times a year. We invite people from the whole community, and our church folk come and support it. And just recently we had our Christmas songs with carols. So the holiday program that we do is still going well, and it's going from strength to strength. We're doing lots of things out of the community, and trying to get our focus outwards as well as inwards. But
I was surprised and pleasantly surprised that I got answer yes. You're out in the community, you're dealing with other people's parents, other kids' parents and their kids and grandparents, then you're out there as our minister. So that's one of the things that really sold it for me, I guess, and part of the process is that because I wanted to be out in the community.
Jean's making a big effort to involve the community in the life of the church, and he's really opening things up around the town.
And Jean has put an enormous amount of effort into being very visible in being involved within the community and various organisations, not just church, and that's wonderful, I think.
It's fun, make new friends. It's good to be in community church.
Yeah. I know it would be nice to see more younger people coming on into faith and having a live faith.
It's been good to have younger children and families start to come to Trinity. They're really starting to enjoy and love having children around more so in other families.
We are still in an older congregation when it comes to things being done.
At the start of this year we had 2 children, which were Jean's 2 kids. And if they all turn up now, we've probably, I think, about 22. And I think God chuckled because a year later, between term 2 and term 3, we had a youth group arrive on the doorstep of about 15 young people, which completely took us by surprise. And that group still, I think the number's up to about 20 now.
And they don't mind the little kids tagging on?
No, our youth group ranges from 5 to 22. So it's more of a family youth group, and we do have families that just stay as well.
The age is varied, so trying to find things for everybody is hard. But we're all, it's like working on it, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
My children, my youngest is not 3. You'd think, oh no, old school church, sit down, be quiet. But no, they're very accepting.
It's a generational thing where kids should be in church, seen and not heard. There's one little boy who comes in, he comes at the front and he does roly-polies and he jumps off chairs and rolls, and he comes up the front and...
Can't see him because he's too small, but you see where he's going, because as he walks down the church you get a Mexican wave of smiles from the congregation.
His brother was lighting one of the candles last week, and we went over to one of the chairs and just started dragging it across towards the candle because he wanted to be involved in what was going on. The people have grown to realise, and I've said it from the front often enough, the kids are part of our congregation here. This is a place where they belong as well. So we include them in what's going on.
The families that are coming are finding that it's there's a friendliness and an acceptance in the congregation which attracts them.
It's nice, and they're feeling at home, and that's what I wanted. Everybody sort of looks out for everybody else.
Trinity had been through this mission discernment process, so they kind of knew where they wanted to go, and they were looking for a minister who had much of the same heart and might be able to come and lead them in that direction.
And it was interesting because I used to do that work when I was down south, and then sitting on the other side of it was an interesting experience, really. And I liked the devotional approach to the gatherings and things. It was really quite remarkable. I think all of us who were involved were amazed at how clearly we actually heard God speak, and I think we were somewhat surprised.
I don't remember how long it was, but it seemed to be quite a long time where we could just wait and think about things and try to discern God's will and carry on. And it was a great time for me. And I think that we got out of it the goals and the way ahead for the congregation that have been right for that time anyway.
I found it very valuable for me myself to be with a group of people who were like-minded, who were looking towards the future for Temuka. Not only for the church but for the community. And one of the main positives that came out of that for all of us that we felt we were discerning was the fact that prayer had to be uppermost.
One of the challenges first coming in was that in the ministry discernment process they felt that they needed to change their leadership structure around how they could best do mission. When I arrived they had a parish council of, I think it was about 22 people, and we went through the process of changing our structure to teams, so we have 5 teams and a church council, and our role on church council is predominantly governance and seeking the mind of God and making sure that we're still going in the right direction and doing more of the bigger picture stuff. The management, so to speak, is done through the teams. And we're going to start a new team next year, which is the family ministries team. And probably taking a page out of the kids friendly book, in that we want to build a culture or an ethos here that welcomes and engages with families really, really well. And so our hope with the families team is to ensure that in every part of our church life, families are considered and are understood to be an important part of the church as well. So the leadership, changing the leadership structure was one of the challenges. The people who have been here for a long time and whose heart is very much attached to the church, it belongs to them. The change into teams actually meant that some people probably lost some control and some authority, which has been difficult for some of them. But the other side of that is that the move to teams has meant that getting the mission played out in various areas has actually worked much better. So we're really trying to work now towards, well, okay, the community ministry team, what is it you want to do over the next 12 months? Discipleship team, what is it that you want to do over the next 12 months? And how is that going to help our mission? And what are the resources you need for that? And we build a budget and we try and resource to the future. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither does changing culture. So trying to implement a new culture, I guess, is a challenge as well.
I think we have become a living congregation again, and that, God willing, there will be people to replace us when we die, and for the church to continue.
Still pretty exciting times, actually. It doesn't feel like I've been here 2 years. It's like maybe a year's gone, but it's actually been 2 years, so that's really good news.
It's a close family.
It is a close family.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I feel.
It's where you feel you belong.
Yeah.
Where you're loved.